Hi everyone, today I want to speak about the International Protection Appeals Tribunal. Now, in the last month or so, they've come out with their annual report. This is around the amount of people who have been claiming for international protection but have been refused. And then they have leave to appeal to this tribunal. Now, a couple of interesting findings from this report that I want to talk about today. First of all, I want to talk about the amount of pending applications. According to this report, it said in 2024 there has been 22,548 pending applications. Now, this has increased over 650% in the last 2 years. Absolutely extraordinary increase of 650% in terms of people appealing to this International Protection Appeals Tribunal. Now, of course, this comes the back of the immigration chaos, and of course we've seen issues arise in Ireland in terms of even coming from the Department of Justice to say that in January 80% of those who come into Ireland through the international protection system are here as economic migrants. In February it was recorded that was 65% in that month have come in as economic migrants as well. Now, it's interesting because these appeals that are brought forward on foot of the rejection from the International Protection Office, people have up to 10 days following the decision made whether they can appeal this decision, and many do appeal the decision because it was found that 72% of appeals are upheld and 28% are successful. So in terms of that, it's like essentially 1 in 4 who appeal would be deemed to qualify for international protection. Now, of course, we can look at the figures, and of course behind the figures we have government organisations essentially calling the shots with this system, and many are funded directly through the state. So-called non-government organisations, organisations like the Migrant Rights Centre and many more that support these appeals. And of course, I spoke in a previous video about the European Court of Justice finding, one of their Advocate General's finding regarding the lack of housing for people claiming international protection. But of course, it's not only this. Of course, it's about the cheap labour for the big employers, many who are exploited, because if you come here within 5 months after getting accommodation deemed international protection, you get your accommodation paid for, and as well as that you get other sources of income. And what fundamentally is important with this is that there is a labour market access permit that's available to people who are here after 5 months, which can be renewed after a year. So of course the international protection system takes up to well over a year for a lot of people to get their first call in terms of decision. Then afterwards, if they're willing to appeal it, they can then forward on to the International Protection Appeals Tribunal, and then that could be another year before that decision is made as well. At the same time, it's plenty of profits made for those employers who benefit from the immigration system. Of course, they can keep wages at low levels because accommodation is being supplied. And what's not to like when you're part of the political establishment in Ireland of pushing this agenda? And of course, it's not only that, it's the International Protection Appeals Tribunal. It's a big revenue stream as well, because over nearly €6 million was spent on this last year, and 3.5 million is through the salaries and wages of only 79 staff. So €3.5 million for 79 staff over a year. And also it's 1.5 million in members' fees for people who sit on these tribunals and make decisions as well. So it's upwards of nearly 5 million. Last year it was with 163,000 spent in translation services. And of course, they're overwhelmed with the amount of people claiming international protection and using this process as well, all funded and supported by the government organisations. It shows you the system is completely and utterly shambolic, and it benefits the very wealthy in society. This globalisation agenda, race to the bottom in terms of wages, big money for the commercial property owners, and also we see the system that's completely dysfunctional and logged up, where somebody can apply for this labour market permit and then work and be exploited as well by their employers, and of course work at lower wages because they're in competition with obviously a lot of Irish workers and many others who come and work and pay accommodation, extortionate rents in Ireland and Dublin specifically as well. And this has an impact on the immigration chaos in terms of people leaving the country. And of course, 1 in 5 workers in Ireland are deemed to be on low pay. And this was always pushed forward by the central bank a number of years ago in terms of looking for more cheap labour to keep the economy going. And of course, it benefits the very wealthy as more funnel gets upward in society. So it's just sheer lunacy. And thanks so much for the support of my videos, really appreciate it. And please subscribe to my channel also as well. So from Dublin today, Slán. Take care, bye bye.